Hello fellow YouTubers and anime figure collectors, and welcome to Pacuccino. Today I've planned something special for you. Who doesn't hate going to custom and pay for your package from Japan, paying import taxes, watts and whatever other costs you need to pay? It's really troubling to get your package from Japan to your country in Europe, or in my case to Germany. So I thought, why not share some of my European sites with you guys. If you're from Europe, so you can choose whether you go through the whole tax, import and other stuff, which can be quite complicated and also make some headaches for you, when you could just order it from a local store, which is not always the cheapest option, but sometimes if you're only ordering like 1 or 2 figures per year, you could consider it. In some aspects, this site could be much better suited for you than if you order from a Japanese site like AmiAmi or CD Japan and stuff like this. So we will only cover really European shops with an actual focus on more like German shops, because I'm from Germany, so I know them more. And if you have some more tips and other stores which you like to recommend to me or to other YouTubers, please write down. I would love to read about them, widen my horizon. And so let's start. So the first stop that I want to show you is, I think, pretty popular. It's Euroconde.de, and it's one of the more cheaper sites, or where you can get your products pretty cheap. And they also have an English option, so you can choose between German and English language. And the site is pretty neatly. So most of the time I only go to new products, and then you will see the listings of them. And there you will have, if you go on the figure, you can open it, and then like any other, they have their site, they have some product descriptions, their prices, and you see in this information box they have a release date, which is stated for January 2023, which is most of the times 3 months later than it will be released in Japan, because obviously it's a German shop and they need to get it from Japan to Germany first off. So if you want to go and pre-order one of these figures, you just push the button. You can choose how many you want. You press the pre-order button and you will get an email from the site which states, "We have received your pre-order," and they will save it for you. You don't have to pay immediately. You can pay later when they're sending you an email. Your product is now available. Then you put your released into your basket and go on the basket to check out and pay for your order via PayPal or other means. So there are different means to pay. They ship worldwide, so you don't even need to be in Europe to get a package. The price is depending on where you are. You can even easily cancel your order as long as it's not released yet. They usually are really fast in this aspect, and they also tell you, please don't do it too often, like in every other store, because they could ban you. You have to pay always shipment, and you will see in other stores, you sometimes, at least in Germany, you don't have to pay after a certain price or amount of the figure. Right now, I really like them. They're really fast in their responses. If you have a question, if you're unsure, they are, I always receive the products in good condition. I have no problem there. It's safely packaged. I only have good experience with them, but right now there are a lot of complaints on my figure collection because they had to increase their prices because of Corona and shipping problems and shortings, and I'm not exactly sure. And a lot of people didn't get the notice of it. I knew about it because short messages will appear right above here at every aspect where we will go on the site. They usually have a little blue message, and if you push on it, there's a push up notice. And I think it was one of these push up notices that a lot of people didn't get, because I read it and I was kind of surprised when a lot of people were complaining that they didn't read it. So maybe some didn't notice this or not. Another negative about the site is you have to be really patient with them. They are not the fastest. They respond really fast to your messages, but everything else is a bit slow. So if you have no problems with waiting, I can highly recommend them. Otherwise, you will have to wait a bit, because sometimes they even have to push their figures back, like what happened with my newest price figure. I had to wait 3 more months than expected, or they dated on their side. Otherwise, they also don't have all figures, and sometimes it takes a while until they get certain figures. So sometimes all the other figure sites already have the figure that you're waiting for, but your content doesn't have it, but they will get it. So you will have to wait a bit more if you want to have a cheap price, because in the end they mostly get a lot of stuff, but not everything. They don't have every figure. Sometimes they will never get it, and sometimes it will just come a bit later. So you have to keep in mind that if you use their site and look for certain figures. But I can say they always get all of Goods My Company figures, Nendoroids, Figmas, and so forth, but not from every other company. Now, the next site I want to show to you is Global Freaks. Globalfreaks.com is an Spain company. I think they're from Spain, and they are also really cheap, a really cheap company. They will show the prices in euro, and because it's in Spain, the prices that they show are not essentially your prices. So you need to sign in with them to get the actual prices, where they will adjust the taxes, because some countries have different taxes on different stuff. So they will adjust it if you log in. Otherwise, they have a lot of figures, figure arts, Nendoroids, freeing, and stuff like this. But I don't think they have plus 18 figures for adults. I don't think they have that. And most of the time at the beginning, they even have like these 5% off. So if you take, for example, these Hatsune Miku, it would just be 270 euros without the VAT, without the VAT instead. So it would be a bit more if I log in and do a purchase with them. You have to pay upfront with them. If you're okay with that, that's no problem. I personally don't like it to pay upfront. But they also have right now something new. You can do an installment payment. That means you will pay over a certain amount of time until you have paid for everything. But it's only you can only use this installment payment when you or pay for an order over 150 euros. And of course, depending on where you are, the shipping will be more or less, and I have no idea how much, because if you're in Spain, they write it will be free. but they don't write how much it will be to other countries. So I can't even give an estimation about how much it will be. I have never used them before. I plan to use them, but for now I've not done anything, so I can't really say from my experience about them. They seem to be trustworthy, but I've not used them much before. The next stop should be pretty common around European and German purchaser, and that's figuya.com. Figuya is a relatively expensive shop, but they also, and that's the good point of them, they have a lot of merch stuff, which not all the other companies have. As you can see, they also have mostly everything that you will find in Japanese stores, and you can even see they have these merch buttons from right now it's Genshin Impact. They even have food and also German mangas. They also send worldwide, and if your item or your whole purchase is over 130 euros, they even ship free in Germany. Otherwise, they have a good listing about their shipping prices, which they list on their site. What's really good on the site, as you can see, they have a red, yellow and green marker system. Everything that's green over the name of the figure or stuff suggests that it's in stock. If it's red, then it's a pre-order stop, and if it's yellow, they reordering it, if I remember exactly. And if you noticed, on some figures up here is also a little message, which can be red or orange. If it's orange, they only have a few pieces left in stock, and if it's red, it's the only one left. So if you hurry, you can snatch the last one up. That's really neat. I really love this. So, and if you want to pre-order from them, you have to pay upfront. If you don't want to do that, they also have a really neat system that I want to show you. As you can see, they have a few buttons here. On the right, you will put it in your basket and can pay for it. Or you push the reserve button on the left, and they will put it reserving it for you, and you don't have to pay immediately. You have only to pay when it's come in stock. Then you put it into your basket and pay for it. They will even send you an email saying, now it's in stock, please pay for your purchase. And because it's a reservation, you can easily cancel it again. So no problem there with canceling if you decide you don't want it or you find it somewhere else cheaper. Because as I said, they are really expensive, or they are more on the pricey side. What's also really neat on them is you can also put yourself on a waiting list. So if you miss the pre-order phase, or maybe they will get it in stock, you can put yourself on a waiting list and they will inform you, we have more in stock. That's also really neat, and that's what I also like about them. They are really fast also in responding. They will send you an email when your order is shipped. So yes, they are expensive, but they also offer a lot of good service on their website. And I've ordered from them twice already, and I can only recommend them. Now, the next one is one that I also heard a lot of people are using. That's Artonia.com. It's from Belgium, and they also have a lot of stuff. As you can see, they not only have anime stuff, but they also have DC or games like Dungeons and Dragons here, DVDs, mangas, Wiz comics, Funko Pops, Blu-rays, PVC, figures and force. They are also more on the pricey side of things, but they have a lot of stuff. And like Figuya, they get the stuff really fast in their inventory, so they will show it in their listing really fast. Sometimes even before the Japanese store. That's the same for Figuya as well. They sometimes get the listings earlier than the one in a Japanese store like Amiens. The same as with Figuya, as soon as you order from them, you have to pay upfront, but you can't make a reservation or stuff like that. But sometimes they're really good because if the figure is already out and everywhere else it is sold out, you will most likely find it on Archonia. And you can also find English mangas, which I've also purchased from them. It's more expensive on Archonia than it would be on Amazon, but at least they would come in perfect condition instead, like from Amazon, where most of my mangas are sometimes scratched up, bent over, ripped. Yeah, I don't like to order mangas from Amazon. They also ship everywhere in Germany, in Europe, with a lot of different options to choose from. So you can look at it and choose what's the best option for you. Canceling is also pretty easy, as long as before obviously the release date, and they will send you the money back. Now I have another mostly German figure site, that's animefiguren.de. Also, they send to 3 more countries, which would be Belgium, Netherlands and Austria. They don't have an English site, so it's mainly only German here. They are from a range between Euroconde and Archonia. They're in between, so they're cheaper than Archonia but more expensive than Euroconde. Another negative point is they don't have most of the time they don't have price figures. They also don't offer nendoroids, but mostly scale figures. But as you can see, sometimes they have nendoroids, but it's not so often. They don't have every nendoroid that's out there, and they don't have every price figure that's out there. Their listing is sometimes a bit strange. They don't get it immediately, but it takes maybe a month or 2 and suddenly it pops up by them. Like with Morgan Bishojo, her pre-order phase is up for like at least a month, and now they only got it in their store. So it's sometimes a bit interesting. What's really neat about them, if you're from Germany, you don't have to pay for shipping as soon as your figure is over 150 euro. You don't have to pay for shipping, which is nice, because so I sometimes compare the prices between Euroconde and Animefiguren, and on Animefiguren it's a bit more expensive, but I don't have to pay shipping, and if I calculate the shipping to the figure from Euroconde, it's cheaper on Animefiguren. So I save money even though I pay a bit more for them. You can pre-order the figures, and obviously you don't have to pay immediately. You pay when the figure is in stock. If you have pre-ordered and decide you don't want the figure anymore, they write on the site that you can cancel the order up until 1 month before the figure is released in Germany. So keep that in mind when you put in an order. Because they are not so well known, I sometimes find figures there which are everywhere sold out, but they have at least 1 more figure in stock, where I got my mermaid figure from, which you can find up here, where I reviewed her. And I was so happy that they still have her, and they are not the most expensive shop out there, so I was really lucky for it, and I didn't need to pay shipping obviously because she was over 150, so yay! I've 2 more sites for you. The first one would be xdxudeviance.com, which is a French site. They offer 80 plus figures, so figures for adults. They have a good listing of the shipping rates. If you order from them, you have to pay upfront, or you choose the option to pay your order in 3 pay installments. You can easily cancel your order from them until the pre-order deadline. And as you can see, they have their site divided into the different figure categories like price figure, pop-up rate, or Androids, or you go to every figure and there it is listed. They also have a discount for certain figures about a certain amount of time until you pre-order there, and you will get 5% off, which is also really neat. They also offer some kind of merch, not everything, but a little bit, like a Daiki Makura, as you can see here. It's also neat. I haven't seen any other stores which offer Daiki Makura from the figure sites that I've shown you so far. And the R18 stuff is listed separately. Again, you have different options you can choose from, like pre-order tapestry, Daiki Makura figures in stock and discount figures or discount products, which again are subdivided in the different manufacturers, which is really neat in my opinion. I really love the design of this site. It's really easy and intuitive to navigate in. For actual experience, I have not so much because I have them on my watch list and I have not ordered from them. The price range is somewhere in between the cheapest and the most expensive one. It always depends on the figure. Sometimes they're cheaper than one of the cheapest, sometimes they're more expensive than one of the expensive one. So it always depends on the figure. So you should always check them, look what they have. And I really like the site because they have the R18 stuff that not every site has. They offer so nearly everything, at least on this base. So I have not used them yet, but I plan to do that in the future. And last but not least is Anime Leipzig oder animele.de. They are a German shop which seems to ship everywhere in Europe, but their site is only in Germany. Again, they are more on the pricey side of things, but they have a lot of stuff to offer, from merch over plushies, figures and mangas, and they even offer seemingly second-hand stuff, which for now is mostly manga orientated, but also figures. I have one figure from them on pre-order because although they are mostly more expensive than the other shops, sometimes they have a really good deal on the figure and it's much more cheaper than anywhere else. So if you pre-order from them, you don't have to pay immediately. You can pay when the stuff is in stock, like with Figuya. I have not cancelled from them, so I can't say how it's exactly done, but I think it should be no problem as long as before the figure is released or in stock by them. So as you can see, they have a lot of stuff ranging really from price figures up to scale figures, stuffies, stuffed animals and other strange things like the Super Mario Pro box. So that was every site that I wanted to introduce to you guys, because sometimes it's much easier and more comfortable to just pre-order from a local store. Especially if you consider that the figure prices are rising and you have to pay the shipping amount, you have to pay the taxes, you have to pay the VATs and everything else. And sometimes it's just not worth it to self-import the figure and just get it from a local store. I would always recommend to just calculate it against each other, to look at the different sites, compare the prices from the different sites, because sometimes it's cheaper from a different site than just the one or two I paid were the cheapest one. And sometimes you will find a really great deal, or even find a figure which you thought you would never get. So I hope you liked what you saw, you learned something, it was informative. I thank you guys for watching me, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye!